Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today we are hopping back in for the next couple chapters of Breaking Dawn.
That's right. Before we get too deep into anything, just a reminder, you can find us at all of our social medias. They are linked in the description below. You should very much like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell. We would appreciate it. At this point, as I said in previous videos, you probably know the spiel. We've done reviews of Twilight, New Moon, Eclipse. We've done movie reactions to those three that are exclusive on YouTube. You should go check them out. And I'm not even gonna do a summary at this point. I'm sure you know where we are. And if not, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Let's be honest, you probably aren't a first-time reader with me, so not if you're watching these.
Yeah. And if you are, you're smart. This is a better way to consume the book than on your own.
If you are, let us know.
It's very smart, because then you get to hear the real-time feedback that solidifies that, no, you're not crazy. This is kind of a dumpster fire. Not that I could do better. There are parts. I wouldn't do as much with the breathing and the breath and the...
And the staring at each other and winking. The whole first book, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. But,
Just saying.
That's fine. Choices were made. And as you may notice, choices have been made also as a recording for us. Just like last time, we are doing virtual again. If it looks like we're looking somewhere different, it's because we are. We're looking differently.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very weird. And there's going to be a lot of growing pains. So we'll figure it out.
Thank you for your patience with us.
All right. Are you ready to hop back in?
Let's go. Chapters 14 and 15?
Yes.
Let's go.
All right. Chapter 14. You know things are bad when you feel guilty for being rude to vampires.
Again, with the chapter titles, they're more like intros. They're your thesis. Mm-hmm. They are the thesis statement.
Yes, I like that.
They're the hook.
Yeah, it's not a chapter title.
No, you could just say things are bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Agreeing with enemies.
Yeah, there you go. A lot better than this. Jacob got back to the house. There was no one outside, so they must still be on alert. He tiredly thinks everything's cool. Edward must have caught the brief annoyance from Jacob when he bolted outside, and he actually went and laid out some clothes for him. Jacob grabbed the clothes with his teeth and carried them back to the tree line, just in case the blonde psychopath left him a sundress as a joke. It was definitely guy clothing, and with the size, it must have been Emmett's. But they weren't long enough, but they would do. Jacob went inside. The room had changed in the last 20 minutes, and it looks more normal now. The TV was on. No one was watching. Bella was in a blanket burrito, curled up against Edward, and only one IV going now. Rosalie sat on the ground next to Bella. Edward looked up and smiled. Bella glanced up, and she looked excited to see Jacob, and she had real energy. Jacob tells them that there is no attack, and Edward knows he had heard most of what was going on. Even though they were over 3 miles away, Edward became more familiar with Jake, so much so that he can hear him more clearly, and even more so if he's in human form, so he heard pretty much everything. Jacob is relieved that he doesn't have to repeat himself. Bella would tell Jacob to go get some sleep, but she figures that he would pass out in about 6 seconds outside on the floor, so there's really no point. Jacob headed to the door. Quote, "Where's the flood, mutt?" Rosalie muttered. "You know how to drown a blonde, Rosalie?" I asked without stopping or turning to look at her. Glue a mirror to the bottom of the pool. I heard Edward chuckle as I pulled the door shut. His mood seemed to improve in exact correlation to Bella's health, end quote. I love the back and forth jabs between Jacob and Rosalie. Like, it's every time they see each other.
Oh, yeah. It's, it doesn't stop to my memory.
You know what? That's okay. Jacob dragged himself to where the air was pure. Suddenly, Jacob hears Edward tell Bella he will be back. He forgot to tell Jacob something. Bella tells him to let Jacob sleep. Whatever it is, it can wait. Jacob agrees, but Edward comes outside. Edward was giving a play-by-play for Carlisle and Esme and everyone else. They were concerned. Not by their judgment, but mostly Esme is troubled by what they're putting the pack through and asked for Edward to come talk about it with him. She was very upset by the homeless comment, and she wants to do something. She got the impression that Leah prefers to not eat in wolf form. They do have human food here to keep up appearances and also for Bella. All of them are more than welcome to it. Also, Edward is aware that Leah hates them, so try to make an effort in how he passes along the message, so she'll actually consider it. Jacob tells him that he'll do his best. Edward continues that there's now the clothes issue. Alice rarely wears the same thing twice, and Leah is close to Esme's size. He trusts Jacob to present the offer in the best way possible, and they also have transportation and showers too. They just want them to be aware that they have the benefits of what comes with the house. Jacob takes all of that in. It was nice of them. Tell Esme that they appreciate the thought, but they also have a river and a few places to stay clean. But thanks. Edward asks him to pass along the message regardless. Jacob agrees. He turns away, and then there is a cry from inside the house. Something's wrong, and he had to go run and see. In the house, Bella was panting. Carlisle heard a crack and needs an x-ray to see if it's a broken rib and if there are any splinters to ensure that it won't puncture anything.
That's a
they
thing?
Had an x-ray... Well, I mean, it can puncture things, but like we're talking about potentially organ, depending on like what happened, what broke, which is why they need the x-ray to see. Like, it could puncture the lung, it could puncture the blood vessels, it can puncture different organs. So
it's bad. I mean, it's not good.
It's not good. I mean, it could lead to like internal bleeding, a collapsed lung. And then there's a lot of pain that goes with it. So
I believe it.
All depending, yeah.
God, I do not want to know what that feels like.
So they had an x-ray machine in their house, and Rosalie brings Bella up. Jacob was too tired to follow, but he could hear everything, so he slid to the ground. Alice offers him a pillow because it doesn't look comfortable. Jacob agrees it's not, but he's too tired to move. Alice says that she has a headache.
I heard a little. Hi, Bear.
Someone decided he wanted to come join the podcast. Hi, buddy. Alice says she has a headache, not the normal ones. Jacob asks why she isn't around Bella anymore. He thought they were best friends. Alice sits down and curls up on the tile next to him. The fetus is giving her a headache. She can't see anything about it, like Jacob. It's like a bad reception on a TV. Everything is blurry, and it's killing her to watch. Once Bella decided that she wanted to keep it, she got blurred out of her sight. She is glad Jacob is close by. Everything goes away. It's like having her eyes closed and numbs the headache. She asks if he minds if she sits with him. Jacob says it stinks anyways, so no. Alice thanks him, and Jacob falls asleep within seconds. When he woke up, the skies were gray, and Rosalie tells him it's about time. His chainsaw impersonation was getting old.
I can imagine being that tired, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Jacob rolled over and discovered why the stench was so potent. Someone had shoved a pillow under his face, probably trying to be nice. Well, unless it was Rosalie. When his face was out from the pillow, he smelled bacon and cinnamon. Jacob blinked and scanned the room. Bella was sitting up in the middle of the sofa. The TV was gone. Rosalie was at her feet. Edward was on one side, holding her hand. Alice was on the other side of Bella on the floor. And Seth announces that Jacob's coming around. He is on the couch on the other side of Bella with his arm over her shoulders. He has a huge plate of food in his lap. Edward answers Jacob's thoughts. Seth came to find Jacob, and Esme convinced him to stay for breakfast. Seth quickly explains how worried they were and then compliments Edward's cooking. Jacob was focused on his arm, though. Seth's arm draped around her. And Edward explains that Bella got cold.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. After hearing Edward's comment, Seth takes his arm off of Bella and started eating with both hands.
Smart man.
Yeah. Leah's out running patrol. She said she'd howl if anything happened. They traded off at midnight. It is now about dawn. Jake slept the rest of the day and through the night. Jacob tells Seth that he should have woken him up. Seth disagrees, though. He needed his sleep. He hasn't taken any time off. He hasn't quit for at least 50 hours. He isn't a machine. Besides, nothing happened. Bella is back to being pale and has rosy undertones. He asks about her rib. It's taped up tight. She doesn't even feel it. We're not going to acknowledge.
Okay.
And that they mention it again, and I can't get, yeah. You and I both know that's not how it works.
Yeah, it's almost as bad as the chromosome thing, but okay.
Yeah.
For those
and
who don't
again,
know what
we
we're
didn't
talking
acknowledge
about,
that one either.
My only thing that I'm going to say was she like, oh, you know what sounds like a cool word? Chromosome. Let's throw that in there. Let's not talk about the implications or anything.
I know, that's why I was like, we're just going to skip, because this is not great.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Jacob then asks Bella, what's for breakfast? O neg or AB positive? Bella sticks out her tongue at him. Omelets, actually. But there is a blood cup next to her. Seth tells him to go get some food. Jacob asks if Leah ate. Seth brought food out to her, but she said she would rather eat roadkill. He's sure that she'll cave soon, though. Jacob tells him that he'll go hunt with her. As he turned, Carlisle asked for a word. Quote, speaking of hunting, that's going to be an issue for my family. I understand that our previous truce is inoperative at the moment, so I want your advice. Will Sam be hunting for us outside the perimeter that you've created? We don't want to take a chance with hurting any of our family or losing any of yours. If you were in our shoes, how would you proceed? End quote.
It's a fair point. It's a very fair point.
Yeah, and so it's a great point, and also he's coming about this in the most respectful way possible. So Jacob was shocked with Carlisle's question. After thinking, he responds, it's a risk. Sam has calmed down some, but he thinks that Sam sees the treaty as being voided. His priority would be the push, and since he's low in numbers, he is betting that he'll stay close to home. So Jacob would say to go out together in case, and they should go during the day because they'll expect them to go at night. Carlisle points out that they would be leaving Bella unprotected. Jacob assures him that she wouldn't be. If they decide to attack, it would be hard, but they would fight them. Carlisle couldn't have that on his conscience, though, and suggests that they split down the middle, 3 at a time. Jacob isn't sure about that, though. Carlisle tells him that they have extra abilities that would allow them to be more safe. Alice could look and see which routes disappear so they would be able to know where to avoid. They have their plan, and Jacob tells Seth to go get a nap in and be back by dusk. Seth starts to say no problem, then asks Bella if she needs him. Jacob snaps that she has blankets.
My word.
Bella, I know, calm down, Jacob.
Of all
It's
people,
okay.
you do not have to be worried about Seth.
Exactly. If Seth has his arm, if Seth had his arm around her, she was probably shaking.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry, blankets, when you're that cold because you're growing an ice baby and you're laying next to your ice husband, that's weird. You're gonna need more than blankets.
Mm-hmm. I'm picturing, on those super, super cold days, and I have heated blankets, but a scalding hot shower would also work in this scenario. When you're so cold and you want the absolute warmest thing possible, so you put it to full heat, and then it's just so nice.
It is.
That's what I'm picturing right now.
Yes, those are the moments where it's you just can't get warm. You're cold to your bones.
Yeah. You need something scalding hot to get the shiver away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No, I do not enjoy those times.
No. But that's what I'm picturing.
Mm-hmm. Not gonna lie. I would totally... again, Seth is so sweet, and, I don't think of this in any romantic way, but I would totally be okay, you're a werewolf, you're really warm. I am snuggled up to you, because as of recently, I am cold all the freaking time.
Mm-hmm. I would never let the wolf leave me. You're here. Always.
Mm-hmm. It's thank you for becoming my space heater, except for when I'm really warm, which can also happen. In that case, stay 500 feet away.
Well, isn't that a thing where she gets super cold and then it's Seth or Jacob, and then she gets really hot and then they transfer her over to Edward because she has hot and cold flashes?
Probably.
That might be coming up.
Pregnancy.
Well,
yeah, not
right.
normal pregnancy.
Bella's also dying, so
that could also be a little bit of a factor there. Yeah.
Wee bit. So Esme comes back in the room with a huge covered dish and stops just behind Carlisle. Her eyes are wide, and she looks to Jacob holding the dish out. She takes another step and tells Jacob quietly that she is aware of how unappetizing the idea of eating here is with the smell being so unpleasant, but she would feel better if he took some food with him since she knows he can't go home. Quote, "Please ease some of my remorse. Take something to eat." End quote.
Uh-huh.
She held out the food for Jake. Her face was soft, and she reminded him of his mom. Jacob mumbled, "Sure, maybe Leah is still hungry." He reached out and took the food from her, holding it out at arm's length. Going back to the book.
I enjoy the quotes in these later books way more than Twilight.
What do you mean? You don't miss all the breathing and the staring and the winking?
I don't have the words to tell you how much I don't.
I will say, so far in this book, knock on wood, I really have been enjoying myself reading this book.
Yes, I am glad that the one thing I remembered was correct, that the last book is arguably the best out of all of them.
Mm-hmm. So far, this is, unless something really dramatic happens after all these little sticky notes you see here, unless something happens after that, I mean,
I don't remember.
Oh, wait, that's where I am. Right here. I'm in the middle of a chapter, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes you do what you are mentally able.
Well, I was probably at work and got a call and just
Physically
stopped.
able.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, can you hold your emergency, please, ma'am and or sir? I'm in the middle of a chapter.
Hang on, I'm busy.
Yeah, can you hold your heart attack? 1 second.
No. And that is more than likely why it's stopped halfway through a chapter. I'd go dump it under a tree or something. I didn't want her to feel bad. Then I remembered Edward. Don't you say anything to her. Let her think I ate it. I didn't look at him to see if he was in agreement. He'd better be in agreement. Bloodsucker owed me. Thank you, Jacob, Esme said, smiling at me. How did a stone face have dimples? For crying out loud. Thank you, I said. My face felt hot, hotter than usual. This was the problem with hanging out with vampires. You got used to them. They started messing up the way that you saw the world. They started feeling like friends. Will you come back later, Jake? Bella asked as I tried to make a run for it. I don't know. She pressed her lips together like she was trying to not smile. Please, I might get cold. I inhaled deeply through my nose, then realized too late that that was not a good idea. I winced. Maybe. Jacob, Esme asked. I backed toward the door as she continued. She took a few steps after me. I left a basket of clothes on the porch. They're for Leah. They're freshly washed. I tried to touch them as little as possible. Do you mind taking them to her? On it, I muttered, and then I ducked out the door before anyone could guilt me into anything else. End of chapter 14.
Oh, that's actually really sweet. I liked that.
I did too, except for Bella.
I am going to take it in a pushing, teasing way, which...
I know, but still.
Oh. No, I do like that Alice and Jacob got to have like little literal sit down and just chat, not for very long, but just pleasant.
Mm-hmm. I do, yes. I would agree with that. I did enjoy this chapter. Like I said, it's becoming, with every chapter so far, it's become more and more enjoyable. It's growing on me, guys, okay? It's growing on me. Will I ever want to read Twilight again, though? No, probably not.
Nope.
No.
Very valid.
Anything else on chapter 14?
No, I enjoyed that chapter. What about you?
No, there was a lot of nice, light-hearted moments that I really enjoyed.
It was very nice. Are we going to keep nice in chapter 15?
I don't know.
Well, let's find out.
I guess so. I can't remember. Chapter 15, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Oh, how that means something different today than it did before.
Yes. Seth joins Jacob later than they planned on. Jacob decided to let Seth sleep later since nothing was going on. Jacob did some scouting while Seth was asleep, just wanting to check things out since the Cullens needed to go on a hunting trip. Jacob finds it so much easier to run with Seth than Leah. Leah was trying, though, and trying hard to change, but her thoughts still have an edge to them. They had always gotten on each other's nerves in Sam's pack, but nothing now. It could be she is just thankful he won't force her to leave, or because he had better understood her hostility now. She still sent the food and clothes Esme sent down the river, though. Jacob ate his share, mostly to set a good example to Leah about self-sacrificing tolerance. She instead took down a small elk, and it didn't fully satisfy her. It made her mood worse, too. She hated eating raw. Jacob and Seth made a plan to sweep further out once Leah joins them. They need to do this before the Cullens leave. Jacob wonders why the Cullens didn't just leave. They had friends up north. They could just take Bella and leave. Seth chimes in. He already asked about that. The reasoning for staying is that it takes a while for Carlisle to build up the medical access that he has here. He has everything here that he needs to take care of Bella and has the credentials to get more. They're also going on a hunting run to get more blood for Bella. They're running out of their supplies and they need to go buy more. Seth updates Jacob on Bella's condition. She cracked another rib. Carlisle taped her up again. She is also running a fever on and off today, mostly low grade, so she has sweats then chills. There it is. Oh, okay, so Carlisle isn't sure why and thinks that she might just be sick because her immune system can't be working so well right now. Bella's in a good mood, though. She has been chatting with Charlie. Jacob is shocked. I was too. Why is she talking to Charlie? She'll get his hopes up just to be even more destroyed when she dies. He assumed they were getting him ready for that. Seth points out that she might not die. Jacob takes a breath. Even if she makes it through, she won't be human. And if she doesn't die, she will have to impersonate a corpse. This was Bella's idea. No one had said anything about it, but Edward agrees with what Jacob is thinking now. After running a while together, Jacob is about to start off a new path, but Seth tells him he shouldn't go far. Bella asked him to stop by, and well, Alice wants him to. Seth had been helping Bella and switching off with Edward, keeping Bella's temperature stable. He also offers to go back if Jacob doesn't want to. Jacob heads back to the house and walks inside. Edward tells him she is the same. He is on the couch with Esme, and Esme is hugging him. Esme welcomes
him.
Edward.
Oh, so like Jacob walks in, Edward's on the couch being hugged by Esme, and Edward says she's the same. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Esme welcomes Jacob in. She is glad he is here, and so is Alice. Bella is currently in the bathroom. Rosalie enters the room, quote, "Oh, wonderful. I knew I smelled something nasty," end quote.
Ma'am. Hostility, my word.
She's something. Just like last time, Bella's face lit up when she saw Jacob. Esme and Edward move, and Rosalie laid Bella on the couch carefully. Bella is cold, and Jacob sits next to her. She looks so frail, so he just leans an arm against her. Alice tells Rosalie that she should grab something from the kitchen for Jake. Alice was on the opposite side of the sofa. Rosalie stared in disbelief. Jacob thanks Alice for the thought, but he doesn't want something she's spit in. His body probably wouldn't appreciate the venom.
Yeah.
Quote, yeah.
Yeah. Also, ew.
I mean, knowing Rosalie, would you be surprised, though?
Yeah, ew. Spitting in food, that's a line. I'm sorry. Ugh. Gross.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a quote here. The first is Alice talking. Quote, Rosalie would never embarrass Esme by displaying such a lack of hospitality. Of course not, Blondie said in a sugar-sweet voice that I immediately distrusted. She got up and breezed out of the room. Edward sighed. You'd tell me if she poisoned it, right? I asked. Yes, Edward promised. End quote. So there's a lot of banging from the kitchen going on. Edward sighs and then gives a small smile. Quote, with a pleased smirk, she set a silver bowl on the floor next to me. Enjoy, mongrel. End quote. It was most likely a mixing bowl that Rosalie had bent into the shape of a dog dish, and she even scratched in the word Fido.
Well, that's a choice.
It is a choice. Jacob thanks her for the steak and baked potato, and then tells her another blonde joke, but she's heard that one too. When he finishes eating, he considers licking the bowl just to annoy Rosalie, but Bella started brushing her fingers through Jacob's hair. It's getting shaggy. Jacob says that he's fine for a few more weeks, though, without a haircut. Jacob then asks when the due date is. They're not sure. Carlisle is guesstimating from her size. Most people will be about 40 centimeters when a baby is fully grown, and she has been gaining about 2 a day, sometimes more, and she is currently 36 centimeters.
Oh my god. Think of the pain, the stretch marks, the burning, expanding.
How fast it's all going?
Oh, no.
Ouchie.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I mean, she's essentially having what should be like 9 months of pregnancy crammed into a couple weeks.
I was going to say less than a trimester. Oh.
Yeah. Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even imagine.
No, thank you. Nor do I want to empathize.
No. So they're guessing she only has like 4 days left. Bella runs her finger over Jacob's cheek, brushing a tear away, and tells him it'll be okay. Bella didn't think that Jacob would come back. Seth and Edward believed that he would, but she didn't believe them because Jacob isn't happy here. Jacob tells her that she wanted him here, so here he is. And she thanks him. Jacob asks why she wants him here. If it's just for heat, Seth could keep her warm, and it's probably easier to be around him being a, quote, happy little punk, end quote.
I mean, that's an apt descriptor, yeah.
I was going to say, that's perfect for Seth. But Jacob is one of her favorite people in the world, and it feels complete when he is here. It's like their family is whole. And we're going to talk about this later. We are going to talk about this later in future chapters because I can't talk about it right now. Yeah, but reading it back now, I'm like, oh boy, I want to talk about it.
I know, that's why I'm like,
Oh, especially this next line, Connie. Jacob points out he will never be part of her family. He can't wrap his head around it. Edward explains that it's been a long, hard day. She's exhausted. She would have gone to sleep earlier, but she was waiting for Jacob to come. By the way, for everybody, this is my first time reading through this. I have no idea what's happening. I am just very far ahead.
She preps the episodes by reading through the chapters, but she reads ahead so that we can record more episodes. So she doesn't know everything yet, but she knows some stuff.
Yep. So no spoilers, please. Thank you.
No.
I have a feeling like this was like the big drop, though, that you were waiting for was this. But we'll talk about it in future episodes. Jacob starts thinking of what's going on with Charlie, and Edward tells him Bella can't stand Charlie's anxiety. It's not better for him, but he won't force her to do anything that makes her unhappy right now. She can do whatever makes her feel better now, and he will deal with things after. She is so sure that she will live, not as human, but she hopes to see Charlie again. She knows she won't be able to be around him for at least a year, but she thinks she can stall enough and keep in contact with him via phone. She's banking on him noticing a difference in her. Edward asks if Jacob remembers how he attempted to tell Bella about his transformation, how he made her guess. That gave her the idea. She isn't allowed to tell Charlie the truth because it would be too dangerous for him, but he may come up with his own explanation. She assumes he would get it wrong like she did. It may not work, but Edward will deal with whatever the consequences are. Jacob asks how it will come out. Baby. Which, I wasn't too far off, Connie. I was not too far off. Remember, I was like, it's going to punch its way out?
Girl, I have had to keep my mouth shut and my face neutral. It has been hard.
I can't believe when I was like, is it just gonna like karate chop its way out of there? You're like, no. Like, how did you keep a straight face?
That was hard. That was really hard. I was like, and poker face.
Jeez.
That was concentration. That took a lot. Yeah, how can you tell a friendship that we don't lie to each other? Like, ever? The one time I was like, I'm not technically lying, but oh, this is hard. In the name of avoiding spoilers.
So, the Cullens have been doing research, deciphering myths, stories, and legends. He's hoping that they're like the Quileute legends. The creatures use their teeth to escape the womb. There are also warnings that the creature also has to be killed as soon as possible before it gets too strong. But legends also say the same about vampires, so it's hard to really say. Jacob asks what about the mothers. Rosalie answers when Edward doesn't. There are no survivors, but also giving birth in this area, even normal births went bad half of the time. None of them have what they have to help the baby. She confirms that the baby will be fine. Rosalie emphasizes
that's not the question, though.
Baby.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. She's just saying, the baby's going to be fine. The baby, the baby, the baby. At this point, her and Bella are the only ones that are worried about the baby.
Yeah. Now, I saw a video recently by one of the creators, the Corinne, I think is her name. She does a lot of Twilight stuff. And she, was not recently, now that I think about it. It's been a minute. But someone made a comment about, like, oh, I don't know why Rose gets all this hate, because she was actually such a good friend to Bella during pregnancy. And Corinne brought up this point. She's like, no, if you look at this conversation, Rose does not care about Bella. She just cares about that baby.
100% just about the baby.
Mm-hmm. Bella's just an incubator.
Exactly. Yeah. So Jacob is saying that she emphasized the baby so much and talked about Bella's life like it was a minor detail.
To her, it is.
Yeah. This is the miracle baby. It's what she's always wanted. So Edward's hands turn into claws. Rosalie turned away and Edward leaned into a crouch. Jacob thinks, "Allow me." Edward raises an eyebrow in response. Jacob lifts his doggy bowl off the floor and throws it to the back of Rosalie's head. It let out a huge bang. Bella didn't even wake up, though. Rosalie slowly turned. He got food in her hair.
Okay, that's a valid reason to be upset, but Rose, you had this coming.
Yes. Jacob started laughing hard and ended up moving so Bella wouldn't wake up. Alice was also laughing. Bella woke up and asked what was so funny. And Jacob tells her he got food in Rosalie's hair. Rosalie hisses that she won't forget this dog. Jacob makes another dumb blonde joke, and Rosalie tells him to get a new joke. Bella tells him to leave her alone, but gets cut off with pain. He's stretching.
He, the baby.
He, the baby.
Yeah, I've heard it doesn't feel good when a normal human baby is doing that. I can't imagine super strong vampire baby.
Super strong vampire baby kicking. Stretching.
Nope.
At this, Bella went pale, and Edward asks for Carlisle. Bella points out that she's okay. He's just running out of room. He reminds her of Jacob, though, with his growth spurts. He is like that. He's growing so fast. Jacob bit his tongue, and Carlisle wonders about the fetus's genetic makeup, his chromosomes, and we're just going to speed through this. Thinking about the similarities of the accelerated growth and Alice not being able to see either of them, he wonders if there are similarities gene deep. Edward muttered, 24 pairs. Carlisle says that they don't know, but it's interesting to speculate. Bella falls back to sleep, and Edward and Carlisle got into talking genetics. Jacob didn't pay attention, though. He had other things to worry about. One, the creature is protected with something as tough as vampire skin. Rosalie said that they had a plan to deliver the creature. Edward said others like this would chew their way out. And lastly, not many things could cut through something so strong. His teeth were strong enough as well as vampire teeth. Quote, "It was hard to miss the obvious, but I sure wish I could, because I had a pretty good idea exactly how Rosalie planned to get that thing safely out." End quote. End of chapter 15.
Interesting. What do you think about this chapter?
Whoever said Rosalie was such a good friend to Bella, it is not true. It is not true. No. I understand Rosalie better, from her background, but I really don't like her.
No. Up until this point, I have really been like, hey, you know what? I can appreciate Rose and go Rose, go Rosalie, all great. This chapter, I have way too many issues.
It's like she was slowly going downhill, and then this chapter she just plummeted.
Yeah, no, I don't like it at all. It's literally, I can work with a lot of people, a lot of things. I can't work with someone who's not seeing the individual human at all. That's hard.
Bella's just an incubator.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to ask her, well, what about Bella? The baby's fine.
Bella would want the baby to be fine. It's like, that's
Exactly.
not... No. I'm
No.
sorry, no. That logic does not get to apply here.
No. And like Bella backing up Rosalie and like telling Jacob to like leave her alone and be nice. Like, one, she doesn't want them fighting, but two, also like mom brain is taking over.
Yeah.
Not to be an insult, but she knows like Rosalie is her number one protector. It's her baby's number one protector.
Not hers, her baby's.
I'm like, I have to clarify that.
Yeah. No, it's... Mm-mm. I don't like it. I feel like the only person who is like really considerate of what Bella actually wants is Seth. Otherwise, everyone else, not so. Even Jacob to a degree, but like Charlie and Seth. Yeah. That's it.
Edward is getting better, I will say.
You say? Oh my god.
And the fact that with the whole, what was it, last episode, we were talking about the whole, like, when they introduced the blood thing, where Jacob was like, what are you going to do, force it down her throat with a tube? And Edward's like, no, I'm going to go ask her. And it's like, okay, so Edward is getting a little better. Is he great? No. But is he better? Yes.
You know, maybe that's the Edward that I'm remembering and why I was like, oh god, this is like real bad. Yeah, I don't know. There's just so much about this where I don't like it, but at the same time, this is how I would expect a permanently immortal 17, 18, 19, and I think Carlisle's only supposed to be like 26. Like,
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they're not old. And I'm like, well, I mean, they should be mature because of their lives and experience lived, but who knows? I'm like, yeah, this kind of tracks how people might handle this at that age and maturity levels, but doesn't mean it's okay.
Yep. Yeah, well, it's like, did their brain stop developing as soon as they turned? I'm assuming they did. So, like, Edward is permanently a 17-year-old. Carlisle is permanently a 26-year-old, which is better. Better.
Yeah, well, you already... Yeah. Bella already learned the stories of the vampire babies, right? Like the immortal children?
Yes. Yeah, that was... Wasn't that in the last book?
Was it in Eclipse?
Maybe not.
Because it's with the Denali sisters up north. Like, their mother had turned a child. Do you remember that?
I remember the story. I just don't know if it was in the very beginning of this book or if it was in the end of last book.
I don't either. But what comes to mind is, like, the issue with that was that the children were stuck at that developmental age and they couldn't be controlled.
Right.
So I'm like, applying that logic here.
Right. Yeah, I really cannot tell you which book it was, in all honesty. I want to say it was this book.
I know it
because Bella starts dreaming about her baby boy after that.
No, because this book starts with the wedding, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So it was in Eclipse.
Okay.
Like, she has the dreams in the beginning of this, but she learns the story in Eclipse because that's when she learns about Rose's background. She met the
Denali clan at the wedding, though, which is why I'm getting confused.
Someone who has watched our episodes, help.
Help, please.
Help. No, yeah, I'm pretty sure she learns it in Eclipse. But then
you know what?
She starts
I have the notes in front of me.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Bear.
No, it was in here.
It was?
The Immortal Children, Chapter 2.
Oh. Was Chapter 1 not the wedding, or was it prepping for the wedding? It was prepping for the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, they were prepping for the wedding. Even the second one looks like more... looks like the beginning of the wedding.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. No, still preparing for the wedding. And then chapter 3 is the wedding.
Because I remember you made a comment where you're like, I was surprised that the wedding happened right away. I thought that was our big lead up thing. And at the time I was like, girl.
Couldn't have been more wrong.
And I couldn't have said anything.
Hi.
Bear's like, I'm just happy to be here. Happy to participate.
Yeah, he likes to have attention be on him.
That's valid. Well, thank you y'all for joining us. We appreciate you. Again, a reminder, you should like, subscribe, and follow. The notification bell is right there. You might as well hit it. It's super easy. Burn like half a calorie by moving your thumb. You're welcome. Until then, we will see you next time. Adios.
Bye.